What an absolutely stacked lobby this was, and what a race as well. We've lost someone already off the start. We've lost Mad Gunner. The chaos begins already. So yeah, racing with YouTubers, racing with esports drivers, and racing with my old iRacing teammate Basic Ollie as well. So we've got a little bit of spice in here, and we are going to battle wheel to wheel, myself and Basic Ollie. So got that to look forward to. But this was a hell of a race, and my first race back in Gran Turismo Sport for a couple of weeks. Still not quite recovered yet from the blisters I got on my hand from my 24-hour karting race at Daytona, but jumped into a race here. Daily Race C, Dragon Trail Seaside, absolutely unreal lobby on a Monday night. We've got Wilmot and Key25 behind us, just to show you how insane this lobby is. People doing no qualies from the back. And a little bit of strategy in this race as well. You've got to use the medium tyre, you've got to use a soft tyre. It's not a hard medium race where you use a hard tyre for one lap. There is a genuine crossover here with the medium soft tyres, a little bit of strategy. People are going to be pitting at different times, which I like. And I tell you what, I really enjoyed this race. I know a lot of people would be giving GT Sport a hard time of late, and it's understandable. It's an old game. The GT7 news has come out that, you know, it's looking like it might be a cross-play game with PlayStation 4, and that's kind of beating up GT Sport a little bit. But I have to say, this race really does show the best of GT Sport and why we love GT Sport. To jump into this with the calibre of drivers we've got, as we go side by side with King is in the last corner, and Will Murdoch's going to sneak up the inside. Fair play. Oscar must be warming up the tyres there. Surely that's the only explanation for that mad weave. Is Will Murdoch going to dive up the inside of King Gears? We're going to be about 2 or 3 wide. There we go. I'm just going to bide my time here. I don't want to get caught out and put into the sand on either side, so we just kind of stay a bit neutral there. Bump King Gears a little bit. Will Murdoch does go on the grass. It's going to be 2 by 2 now. I'm going to commit. King Gears does back out there. Fair play, because 2 by 2 by 2 might not have worked out for someone there. So we all live to fight another day. Apart from Oscar, who's going to take his penalty. He must have killed someone, surely. And we go into the S's here. Very different in this Group 2 race, because the dirty air has a massive effect on the downforce you get in these cars. So from doing a quali lap on the soft tyres to jumping into a race on the medium tyres in dirty air with a full tank of fuel is very different. As Key 25 is going to dive the inside, and I try and do the cutback, but Key just parks it just on the apex and I can't get past. So very good move by Key. A move I like to do a lot myself as well, and that means we're going to lose 2 more positions. We've got Antimix ahead of us now as well. But these are very fast drivers. It's early on in the race. We're only 11 seconds behind the leader, PR15, who I think is probably on the soft tyre, looking at the radar in the top right. Is Antimix going to go for a move? No, but King goes very deep, so Antimix will get the position anyway, I suspect. Yes. And there is a yellow flag here, I can't see for what, but these cars are very difficult to control, particularly on exit and particularly in second gear. They do like to spin up the rear wheels, and I like that as a challenge. As Key 25 is going to make another move, moving up very quickly. I should go for a huge send here and just kind of nudge Antimix on the exit. Let me know in the chat, was that over the line? I did get some heat for some of the moves I did in this race. That one, I was going for a double overtake, which rings alarm bells already. I think there was a lot of space here on the inside. It is one of the places I do like to go for an overtake because it can surprise people. And suddenly I'm at the apex and they kind of either turn in and they're going to make contact, or they have to just wait and give me the position. So we got one there, but Antimix kept P14. Good battling so far. You can see there's lots of cars ahead of us. The race is still very condensed. Ignoring Fire, who's on the soft tyre, I think pretty much everyone else is on the medium. And yeah, so pretty compact snake at the moment. Everyone going through Death Chicane, through the Death Chicane complex, if we can call it that. A little bit of a lift probably on the medium tyre. Yes, wow, that was close. We're actually going to hit the wall on the outside. It's too close to comfort. King Ears doesn't seem to have a fantastic run. I'm just going to stay to the normal racing line here, not go defensive. And yeah, that last corner is really tricky. As Key 25 dives into the pits, and so does Antimix. So Key and Antimix are going to be doing a lot of laps on the soft tyre. We're going to aim for lap 5 or 6. We'll see how we do as King Gears gives us a little boost. Thanks, King Gears. So we're going to try and catch up with 12th place. And you can see 10th going up there as well. But yeah, really good to be back on GT Sport. Just the best wheel-to-wheel racing on console, I think, and a lot better than iRacing in certain ways as well. The ability just to jump into a race for daily racing every half an hour, get put in a lobby like this with the YouTubers, the eSport drivers, the very quick drivers, is very, very cool. In iRacing, it doesn't really work like that. It's a lot more slow, a lot more stop-start, a lot more serious. GT Sport gets to the essence of the fun, I think, of racing. So good battle going on behind. King Gears is holding up Oscar maybe. Hopefully that can allow us to catch up with the group ahead, who might start to fight soon. Yellow flags are out. We saw it on the steel on the left-hand side. Looks like someone has probably died of death. Let's see. Yes, SCK Damien, who's going to get a 1.5 second penalty as well, just in addition to death. It's like if you die, you get a penalty as a little bonus. Very nice. And someone else diving into the pits there. Will Murdoch into the pits on that 4. Okay. So Key's been in. Antimix has been in. Will Murdoch's in. These drivers pitting very early. We're on lap 5 now. Will we pit this lap or will we go one more? We'll see as we go around the last corner and then we'll make the decision. This corner here, we want to get really close to the left-hand side and power up, power out as much as you can. In quali, on the soft tyre, in this Nissan GT-R, I recommend going up to 3rd gear early. Now, I'm going to go a little bit defensive here because I don't want to go side by side with a driver who's got a penalty and therefore perhaps less to lose. Probably went a little bit defensive, yeah, a little bit too defensive, and that really tightened up the exit. And I wasn't able to control the wheel spin. The driver's ahead going too wide through the S's. It's a 3-second gap now, but that's surely going to close because I'll be fighting so much through this downforce critical part of the racetrack. And yeah, sure enough, that gap has come down by almost a second. Going into this hairpin on the track, which I need to become better at. I need to stamp on the throttle a little bit earlier. You can see I was a bit hesitant. And use the oversteer to help me rotate around the corner. I think that's going to be the best way to get a good exit there. And obviously you carry all of that speed pretty much to the last corner. Oh, that was close. Really playing with fire there. That was probably way too close for comfort. May have grazed the wall as well. Had to lift quite a lot because Oscar behind us is catching quite significantly. Right, drivers ahead are pitting. So drivers at the front of the race are coming in, as is the Spanish driver there. And Oscar behind. And Mumu as well. So a lot of drivers pitting. We're going to go one more lap on the medium tyre. That probably will mean that we'll get undercut, which could be interesting with traffic. But we should have fresher tyres come the end of the race. That's the trade-off. That's strategy. That's what I really enjoy about Daily Race C when they make it like this. There's actual strategy, not do one lap on the hard tyre at the beginning or the end of the race. So yeah, quintessential Daily Race C for me this. Mimicking an F1 race in a way, where in F1 you'll have the teams deciding whether to undercut or not. 2 compounds you have to use in F1 in a dry race, and it's pretty much the same here. And I like that. It's like a mini Grand Prix. So we'll see the effect of the undercut when we come out of the pits at the end of this lap, because we're not going to do another lap on the mediums. That would be well over the crossover point. Going into this hairpin here, which I'm still struggling with. In a Group 3 car, I get all over that curb on the inside, and I'm a lot more confident on the throttle, so I need to get there. That's what I'll be improving this week. And I will be hitting more of Daily Race C this week. I think it's a really fun combo. Let me know in the comments if you like this combo or not, because I know Dragon Trail Seaside can divide opinion, but is it just because it's overused? Because I do think it's a really good track. And it's a really good track in different cars. I remember the Red Bull Junior race we had here in FIA, which was a superb race, a really, really good race. As we're going to dive into the pits now. The Daplin's in, the Z-Fix Nilom's in as well. So quite a few drivers in, and we're going to see the effect of the undercut on us. As all the drivers that got on the soft tyres a little bit earlier, they will come out ahead of us. How far, we will see. Here's a moment of truth. There's the Spanish driver. That gap doesn't look too different, but there's Oscar, there's King Ears, and here comes Mumu. No, there's Adventure James, and here's Mumu. So both of those getting fast as well. I did think about going defensive there, but I backed out. There's no point really, I didn't have the speed. And I remember at this point thinking, I hadn't seen Adventure James before, although I knew he was starting near the back, so I thought he must be on some kind of unusual strategy. I must be better than him on strategy at this point, because this is the best moment for me on strategy in the race. on fresh soft tyres, and the tank is about half full. This is not a fuel saving race at all. You want to burn as much fuel as possible, which is fine. I think this race, if it was a fuel saving race, it would take away from it a little bit, so that's fine by me. Going to have a decent overspeed here, but not going to think about doing a move. Do you just want to settle in a little bit, just scope out what is going on ahead? If we are better on strategy, then we don't need to force it. We will be able to do it on the basis of our natural pace. Going through dash chicane now on the soft tyres, you can see there the lift was much more minimal. So much more grip, even though we've got the dirty air. I don't think it affects you into dash chicane as much as into the S's, where it's a real nightmare. So Mimi thinks about going for the move though. I just take my normal line, which should mean that I get a better exit than the two ahead who were kind of going side by side, and Mimi filters back in. Surely Mimi's going to go for a move here, so I'm thinking about the really to the right. I'm thinking about, is there going to be opportunity here on the left hand side? Let's have a look. Yes, there is. There's a big gap there, so I'm going to dive into that gap up the inside, claim the apex. There's a little bit of contact with Mimi. That contact goes into Adventure James, and Adventure James goes off. So yeah, let me know in the chat what you think about that move, because again, that was a double overtake. Always risky, but I felt like there were acres of space up the inside. It would have just been rude not to avail myself of that lovely piece of tarmac on the inside. But do let me know, was it out of line? It was a strong move, and I think Adventure James gets squeezed off as a result of me making contact with Mimi and Mimi making contact with James. But there we go, we race on. And I did catch up with James after this race, which was very nice. Right, so 1.5 seconds ahead to King Ears, who I feel like we've been slightly better on pace than King Ears in this race, so that's a good target to aim for. P15 is going to dive into the pits. There we go. So he's not on the radar at the moment. There he pops back in on the top right. We'll see where he comes out doing that alternate strat, starting on the soft tyre, which you can do if you're starting at the front of the race and you're also one of the fastest drivers in the world, like a P15, so fair play for doing a different strat. But if you look at the radar, the rest of the snake, again, is fairly compact. Pretty much the whole field is now down the start-finish straight on lap 8, 12 minutes into this race, which is pretty cool. It is a very good split we've got here, top split in the dailies on the Monday night. It is the place to be, and I hope you're enjoying this race, as there is going to be some drama to come. I can assure you of that. So, still about 1.3 seconds to King Ears. We haven't gained that much. He will be in the dirty air now though, especially going through the S's. We might not be, so if we're going to catch up, now's the time to do it. Our tyres are still pretty fresh, and we pitted fairly late, so we should be looking good at this point of the race still. He will dive up the inside of that corner there, much tighter line than King Ears, who's really struggling with the grip. So the gap was 1.3 a few corners ago. It's now going to be 0.7 as we go into the hairpin. That is going to put us in slipstream range if we can do a decent hairpin, and we do. We're on the throttle there nice and early. Really like my line that time. I need to try and replicate that if I can. As we go to dash chicane, the equaliser, you never know what's going to happen for yourself and for everyone else. Whoa, that was close on the right side. Absolutely love that corner. Pretty much every car. Just an historic piece of track, dash chicane. Yellow flag here, so someone's come a cropper, possibly on the exit of this corner where it's very easy to light up the tyres in these Group 2 cars. It's partly why I'm enjoying this race so much. The cars are really difficult to drive. If we do a 27.8, so that's 8 tenths off the fastest lap. I'll definitely take that. We're going to look up the inside of King Ears. Are we going to go for it? Yes, we do. King Ears a little bit compliant. So thanks, King Ears. And we're going to get very wide there on the exit. Oh, I think we lost someone. Yeah, we lost King Ears behind. There's a little bit of a curse there when I make an overtake into that corner. Person behind gets sent to the realm. And yeah, it's all bunching up a little bit ahead. Maybe the strategy is going to come into play. 3.5 laps to go. Our tyres are in still pretty good condition, but we do go horrendously wide there. I think it was a half decent save because that was a really bad approach into that complex, and I think Damien's still going to be too far behind to catch us. People going 3 wide there. There's a lot of cars ahead of us to aim for. That's going to be fun going into the dash chicane complex, as we will call it. Yeah, it looks like still 2 wide there ahead. That might be the battle for 10th. So we'll keep an eye out for any shenanigans. There goes, wow, And Menti going into the barriers on the exit. Ooh! And I gambled on the ghosting. It didn't pay off. I could have gone around the outside, but that would have sacrificed a lot of speed as well. But there we go. And the Menti's going to get a 1 second penalty from me ramming him up the rear. So explain that, aliens. But there we go. Past the Menti. Got the Ramster. Now, if you were going to apportion blame solely on the basis of PSN IDs, Ramster 424 is starting from a sus position, and we can see ahead of Ramster, it's basically my ex-teammate in iRacing with a 1.5 second penalty in P12, so that's surely going to bring him much closer to us. Let's have a look. That could be a very interesting battle in the latter stages of this. I was going to call it a Grand Prix. It feels a bit like a Grand Prix. Let's just call it a Grand Prix. So Ollie's going to take the penalty and I go through my ex-teammate, which is probably a little bit awkward. But there we go. Not really in the dirty air, so I can hopefully get a decent exit out of these S's. Again, such a fun piece of track, these corners. So Damien's got through behind as well, interesting. Ahead of us there, we can see just P10 going around the hairpin. So we are in the mid-pack in a very competitive lobby. This is where we started, and we're in a good position to pick up any scraps if there are any more yellow flags, any more casualties of the dash chicane. We should be in a good position to profit. A little bit messy on the exit there. If you look behind, Damien's going to be catching us. I'm not going to go defensive, going to stick to my line. There are positions to aim for ahead of us. There we do go a little bit wide there. There's 2 laps to go. The soft tyres are not as good as they used to be. You'll see the lap times will be going down. What's this going to be? 28.3. Damien goes around the outside, but I'm not ready to give this up. I am going to fight this. I'm going to try and be late on the brakes. There we go. Still on the inside, claim the apex, side by side. Oh, let me know about that in the comments as well. That didn't look great. I was trying to... Oh, no, surely not another one of the curse. Got to end this curse. But I was trying to turn in there, but I probably should have sacrificed more speed. It didn't really look great on the replay, so I've definitely been elbows out in this race. And we've got basic Ollie behind. My ex-teammate, 4 tenths behind. He'll be in the dirty air now, which is not ideal. I wonder if he'll tactically back off to get a good run down the hill. But he will definitely want this position. Decent bragging rights up for grabs. And ahead of us, still kind of P10 roughly in sight, but we're going to need them to battle ahead if we're going to have any chance of actually catching up with that group. Still could happen with, like I said, the mix of tyres, people pitting on different laps. Some tyres will be in vastly better condition than others. That was very, very close. It's actually kind of really playing with fire there. But you kind of have to. Someone's going defensive. Oh, I think there's a change. Someone must hit the wall there. Was that Antimix? Yes, Antimix in P11. Surely must have hit the wall, but also if we remember, Antimix pitted very early. So his tyres might be completely shot. That could be very interesting. We've got Ollie behind 3 tenths. That's probably close enough to have a little look up the inside. I know I have in this race. Are we going to go defensive? Yes. So we show Ollie to the outside and then just take it through here fairly steadily. So it looks like we are going to dice, and we'll have to just see if anything from the group ahead comes back. Ollie's really close. I'm probably going to go defensive here. Yes, I do. And I probably braced a little bit earlier than I wanted. There was a bit of contact, but I think that's all on me. I didn't want to run too deep into the corner of my worn tyres. And again, going into this complex now, which is really tricky on the worn tyres. Just so understeery. We're miles away from qualifying trim now. It's a distant dream, that qualifying trim. As Ollie and myself both go very wide, we understeer. It is too wide ahead of us. If that carries on into dash chicane, that could be interesting. As Ollie goes very deep, he might be having the same thing with his tyres where you just can't get the car stopped. So that'll be interesting at the last corner. There's 2 more opportunities for me to slip up now. First one is dash chicane. Let's have a look. Yeah, not doing anything too fancy. Ollie's 5 tenths behind. So I think we are going to hold on to this little battle here. And they are side by side ahead. Wow. Antimix on the outside. That's going to be a bit of a drag race over the line. Potentially if we worked together, myself and Ollie, we could have caught that pat, but difficult to say. And yeah, P13 in this very competitive lobby, being 8 tenths off the fastest lap. I will take that. return to GT Sport in a way. And my hand is getting a lot better now. I think in a few days it will pretty much be back to can just race and not have to worry about it. But I hope you enjoyed that race. Let me know in the comments if you thought any of my moves were over the line, or if you thought it was good fighting. I always love reading the comments because it's just so handy to have people who have an opinion watching from the outside, and I think that's really helpful for me for my driving. And if you do enter this daily race, make sure to use a lint GT-R livery. It does give you an extra 3 tenths in quality, I can confirm that. Guarantee. But yeah, I've really enjoyed this combo, and I hope you did as well. But until the next race, I will see you next time.